So one of the stories we're following for you this morning, 8:13 on Saturday morning, is Kevin Sinfield. Now, we have a camera on board a bike, which is following. It's the first time we've done this. So we've set him off every morning and we wave goodbye, and then we don't really know how it works, apart from the fact that he is achieving a... Okay.
That was brilliant timing. Well done, Charlie.
Thank you so much for coming in. And whatever happens, do come back. Well, I was going to say, going for some reaction from our panel, because listening to that interview at the desk and seeming to applaud Joe Lycett, the comedian, Cleo Watson, who has lots and lots of experience in Number 10, because she worked for Theresa May and Boris Johnson. Now, Joe, I'm going to let you calm down a bit before I ask you what you thought of it.
Well done, Liz.
What did you make of it? Now, have you calmed down? She has to go from the campaign to the country. But tell us honestly what you thought.
Well, so you said earlier that I'm not left or right. I know that there's been criticism in the Mail on Sunday today about lefty, liberal, wokey comedians on the BBC. I'm actually very right-wing, and I loved it. I thought she was very clear. She gave great, clear answers. I know exactly what she's up to. And I think she's... most people watching at home who are worried about their bills are going to feel...
Point, Joe. Forgive me. There's a serious point.
I'm not being sarcastic.
She said that there was a big package of help coming this week for people to help pay their bills.
She was very clear what she said, and I think you know exactly what's going to happen. I think you're reassured, I'm reassured. Are you reassured?
Well, Emily Thornberry, you're smirking over there.
I think, you know, the haters will say that you've had 12 years of the Tories and that we're sort of at the dregs of what they've got available, and that Liz Truss is sort of like the backwash of the available MPs. I wouldn't say that because I'm incredibly right-wing.
Sober David, the Liberal Democrat MP. Excuse me, I'm about to sleep. I think I've got away with it. Sir Edward Davey. Ukraine's deputy. Excuse me, I do beg your pardon. I was trying to suppress that, not successfully.
President Emmanuel Macron has accused Boris Johnson of not being serious. Excuse me, after the Prime Minister sent him a letter.
Europe braces itself for a third wave of coronavirus infection with fresh lockdowns in France and in Poland. I do beg your pardon. On Christmas Eve went viral, has insisted her belief, excuse me, in Santa Claus remains unshaken. Unlawfully, if any disclose details of deals to purchase items such as personal protective equipment. Excuse me, the government is meant to publish contracts. I do beg your pardon for that. It's very rude of me. Sober David, the Liberal Democrat MP. Excuse me, I'm about to sleep. I think I've got away with it.
We've now got neighbourhood crime down since I was elected
Lorraine is waiting to take up all the issues that you have brought up in this interview. Thank you very much indeed. Who's Lorraine? Lorraine's a legend.
Okay, fantastic. Well, looking forward to talking to Lorraine. Okay, good.
Wow, thank you, Susanna. A masterclass in a political interview.
Guys, sorry, you're live on Sky News. Your reaction to the win? We lost. Sorry, reaction to the loss, apologies. Reaction to the loss? Shit. Apologies for the language.
Peter, thanks very much. I'm going to admit to you that I've just had a little bit of croissant. And I'm just finishing it, and I'm ashamed to say that, but there you go. It's 20 to 6 in the morning. I'm going to admit to you that I've just had a little bit of croissant. And I'm just finishing it, and I'm ashamed to say that, but there you go.
Referendum, the Leave campaign that he led in 2016, until this very moment, you just now get that sort of sense of the time, his leadership ebbing away, his prime ministership and his leadership of the Conservative Party.
Details. We know a number of cabinet ministers have gone into Number 10. One of them was Nadine Dorries, who came out just...
A couple of things. Firstly, we need to make sure that we keep the basic functions of government going. That's really important. There are, for example, no ministers in DfE at the moment. That needs to be sorted out. Secondly, I think we need to try and select a new leader as quickly as we reasonably can. And obviously, we need to make sure we make the correct choice, but we should do it in a reasonably quick time. In terms of Boris staying on, the convention is that the outgoing Prime Minister does carry on. That's what happened when Theresa May left office, is what happened when David Cameron left office. And, you know,
Johnson presided over a culture of casual law-breaking at 10 Downing Street, when going on to say, to describe yourself as vindicated by the report is grotesque. Two figures who are significant: Jeremy Hunt, because he's a potential leadership candidate, Jesse Norman, because, you know, he's worked with Boris Johnson for quite a long time, and yet that was an eviscerating letter that he published, explaining why he's not going to be voting in favour of his leadership. Well, we're joined now by our political correspondent, Ali Fortescue.
The hole in the public finances is bigger than it would have been, and Jeremy Hunt's cuts will be more painful.
Never thought I'd be...
Oh, no, it's all right.
No, you can
We're live on air. Carry on.
Never thought I'd be sitting in the seat.
Justin will help you out.
Jeremy Hunt has just sat in, is what you're about to say.
When I saw him there, I just said, "You've got a hell of a job. The best of luck." And what I really wanted to say, "Fuck you."
Oh no!
Bastard,
You mustn't say that.
But you can't say that.
Yes, no, you can't say that.
Not fair.
We'll have to have you out of the studio now.
Yes,
we'll have to have you out of the studio.
With many apologies. The time now is 8:30. A time for the sports news, and Carthy is with us. Hello there.
Wales back at the World Cup in over 60 years. And that's all from us tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Sometimes sharing a name can be a bit confusing.
Well, I'll tell you, last night was very confusing.
Go on, then.
Because Bryan arrived at the hotel and said, there are two Brian Coxes, so you've got two rooms. And he said, no, it's only one. I think there might be another Brian Cox. And the hotel said to Bryan, we can't have two Brian Coxes.
They wouldn't check me in.
They wouldn't check him in.
So you were kind of outlawed?
So you had to use his assistant's name.
Yeah, I had to change my name. They couldn't do it on the computer system. They didn't believe me. And I got a picture out on my phone and said, look, there's this Brian Cox, he'll be coming later, and there's this one. And he said, I know neither of you. I don't watch television.
We were dished.
Thank you very much. Can I just say, you've got great hair. We were talking about it outside.
Were we?
It's a wig, is it? You know? That's what I didn't say that. Looks great.
Well, you've got great hair too. Yeah, I see you. Oh, look at that.
There you go.
That very rarely happens. Very rarely happens.
Would you
Come on,
like
a
rim? Would a what?
Would you like a rim?
I thought you said a rim. Jeez.
The time now, we're coming up to 9 o'clock. Lewis Capaldi's new single, Forget Me, is out now. We're going to have a little word with Lewis. The headlines are coming up.
He was quite a big residential landlord.
Sebastian Gerrard made his money in construction, but became a landlord for a more stable income. He says tougher tax and licensing rules, as well as increased mortgage rates, have forced many landlords to either increase the rent or simply sell up.
Rents are going up a lot. As a landlord, how do you justify those rents going up?
Well, I think people tend to think, have a view that landlords are cashing in on rents going up, but of course, there's a lot of different factors in there. It's a risk like any business, really, isn't it? You're investing a lot of money, taking a lot of debt on your head, and of course, you've then got those liabilities, so there's a lot of different aspects to take into account.
For the turmoil, Jacob Rees-Mogg's been out this morning saying, well, it's mostly to do with interest rates, and everybody else, it seems to be saying, well, actually, it's quite a lot to do with the government's mini budget. Can you just give us your verdict on that?
Well, to use non-technical term, that's pretty much bollocks.
Before we go, I've had time to clarify whether that word Gillian Tett used to describe Jacob Rees-Mogg's explanation was within the rules. And on the Ofcom regulator website, it describes it as medium language, potentially unacceptable, less problematic when used to mean nonsense. I should, however, apologise to people who were relying on subtitles for whom it was spelt bullocks. That's all for this evening. We're back at 7 tomorrow night. Until then, good night.
And now in Paris, he was getting the best of Frenchman Manuel Guinard. After a slow start, he eased through in straight sets and is one step closer to reaching week 2 of a Grand Slam for the first time. Lydia Campbell, BBC News.
While we're on the subject of football, a little earlier, some of you may have noticed something pretty unusual on the ticker that runs along the bottom of the screen with news, making a comment about Manchester United, and I hope that Manchester United fans weren't offended by it. Let me just explain what was happening. Behind the scenes, someone was training to learn how to use the ticker and to put text on the ticker, so they were just writing random things, not in earnest, and that comment appeared. So apologies if you saw that and you were offended and you're a fan of Manchester United, but certainly that was, a mistake and it wasn't meant to appear on the screen. So that was what happened. We just thought we'd better explain that to you. Now,
statement from His Majesty the Queen, a statement from His Majesty the King. You can see that even those of us who have followed this for a long time can still make those mistakes. His Majesty the Queen, His Majesty the King has just issued that statement on behalf of Buckingham Palace.
Yes, fucking hell.
And can I just add something about the Paddington Bear sketch that we've all seen? We should remember that she acted that in empty space.
Yes.
There wasn't a real Paddington there, although it looked like it. She acted out what she would say to Paddington, and then the CGI experts went in and animated a Paddington image for her.
What advice would you give new king? What would you like to see him do?
Do a backflip.
Come on, we can beat Mariah Carey.
Daniel Rosney, BBC News.
Mariah Carey likes a sausage roll, apparently. Anyway, time for a look at the weather. I did just make that up. Here's Matt's headline.
She likes a bit of snow as well, looking at that video. Very good afternoon to you.
After weeks of waiting, finally we know who the next Prime Minister will be.
His 4th Prime Minister, I think, in the 10 years that Larry has been based here. Looks entirely moved by the whole thing, as ever, doesn't he? Po-faced. Hi, Larry. Morning. Not a flicker of the whiskers. There we go.
It has been a night of astonishing scenes at Westminster, with reports of jostling, manhandling, bullying and shouting outside the parliamentary lobbies in a supposed vote of confidence in the government. The Deputy Chief Whip was reported to have left the scene saying, "I'm absolutely effing furious, I just don't effing care anymore," before he resigned, along with the Chief Whip. But we've just been told they have now officially unresigned. The Home Secretary has, however, definitely gone. In short, it is total, absolute, abject chaos.
Parlament mit den Worten verließ, "I'm fucking furious and I don't fucking care anymore." Ich übersetze das jetzt mal.
That's my friend. Right, hello.
Didn't even know he resigned. I've just finished work, so well, that's a bit of good news for the day, I suppose, isn't it?